Hi everyone, you're here sewing with Cody, and in this video we are finally going to get a chance to introduce the newest member of the Bernina family. This is the Bernina 735. So before we go take a closer look, make sure if you end up liking the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you can see all the new videos that are coming up. Alright, let's take a closer dive into the new Bernina 735. So here we have it, the brand new Bernina 735. Now as you look at it, you may think, oh, this is just the new 770 Plus. And technically speaking, it's extremely similar. It's actually almost identical, especially from the surface. You really can't tell the difference. But this one is not the 770 Plus at all. So the new 735 is different. It's actually something that we've never really seen in a Bernina, especially not a Bernina 7 series, at least not predominantly in the United States. So this 735 is actually a 5.5 millimeter stitch width machine. So as most of you know, all of the Bernina 770s in the United States, with the exception of a few that have made their way over, they've all been 9 millimeters, because when they originally came out, the Bernina President of America decided that most of us are going to want a Bernina with the built-in dual feed. And now, since many of the Berninas have the built-in dual feed, they decided to bring in a 5.5 millimeter 10-inch throat big machine. And so with this, if you've seen any of my other videos, especially ones dealing with the Bernina dual feed, and if you're not familiar with the Bernina dual feed is basically a built-in walking foot. So we have a walking foot which works on any of our Bernina machines, which is absolutely amazing, which helps feed multiple layers of fabric through the machine without having one layer pull more than the other, and especially work with stretchy fabrics. So like the 770 and 790 have that built in, it comes in from the back. However, in order to have that, we need to have a 9 millimeter stitch width machine. So a 9 millimeter machine is going to have a nice big foot with a big opening. However, this machine is a 5.5 millimeter stitch width. So as you can see here, this is essentially the same foot, a number 1 and a number 1D. So the 1 is the one that's going to be for the 735, and the 1D would be the one that's for the 770 and 790. So you can really see the difference in size. So as for a quilter, we really like the 5.5 millimeter stitch width, which is why in many of my other videos I talk so much about the Bernina 475 being a perfect companion to the Bernina 770. So then you kind of have the best of both worlds. You have a machine, which the 770 has that 9 millimeter stitch width, which really allows you to do nice, big, beautiful stitches, especially when it comes to quilting your quilt and garment sewing. It's wonderful to have that 9 millimeter stitch width. However, when you're piecing a lot of small little pieces in a quilt, that 9 millimeter stitch width, because the feed dogs are so much further apart, and even working with your 97D foot, can be a little more difficult. You can definitely get it done, but in my experience, and many people who have told me over the many years that I've been working with these machines and working with customers and quilts, that they much prefer a machine that is 5.5 millimeters or smaller when they're piecing a quilt, which is what makes the old Singer featherweight so popular, because they have that narrow little 1/4-inch foot and those narrow feed dogs. So Bernina has always had machines that were 5.5 millimeter. However, we've never had a big one like this. We've never had one with a bobbin sensor. Now we do have the Bernina 475 and the Bernina 535, two very popular machines in my store, and both of those are 5.5 millimeter machines, and they both have the nice big jumbo bobbin, as we see here. So we can fit a lot of thread on there, but neither one of those machines have a bobbin sensor. And the 475, as great of a machine it is, for someone who's looking for embroidery, the 475 cannot embroider. But also for someone who's looking for a bigger machine, the 535 is bigger than the 475, but it's not this 10-inch throat space. And also one thing that this machine has that neither the 475 or the 535 have is the hover feature. So the hover feature basically means is there's no lever in the back to raise and lower the foot. We're able to drop the foot just by pressing the foot pedal. The foot will drop, and I can have it when I have my needle stop in the down position that the foot will actually pop up and hover to allow me to pivot the fabric. And this is something you can turn off and on in the settings. Super easy to do. I've got videos working with that. And that's whenever you have the needle set into the down position, which we can see right here. So that is a super, super, super nice feature to have, and it's the first one that we've ever had with a 5.5mm stitch width, and that's been really, really nice. So I brought the machine home to the studio, and I pieced a whole quilt together using this machine with my number 37 in conjunction with my 57 foot. Two great feet. They're both 1/4" feet. One has a guide, one doesn't. I have a video on all of that. But these feet do not work well with 9mm stitch width because the feet are too narrow, and the 9mm stitch width machines, those feed dogs do too far apart. So that's when we use the 97 or the 97D foot. But here everything works just like a normal Bernina machine. But as I mentioned a minute ago, is the 735 also has the ability to do embroidery. But what's really nice is it's not just basic embroidery. This machine has all of the fun features that the 790, almost all the same features as the 790 plus and the 770 plus. So that includes group and ungroup, pinpoint placement, pattern resequencing, a lot of those fun features that make embroidering so much easier, especially to get your designs nice and straight. And it's perfect for quilting in the hoop. Having this big space, now we can quilt in the hoop, especially with our new clamp 8.5 by 8.5 hoop, which just came out, which is super nice. So one thing about the 735 is, so this is the first in the lineup of 7 series. It starts with the 735. So it goes from the 735 to the 770 plus to the 790. So this one is at a much better price point, which is super nice. And a lot of that is because it doesn't have the built-in dual feed, which is an extra cost. It doesn't come with the BSR, but if you already have the BSR from another machine, which so many of my customers do, you can use it on this machine. So even though the BSR does not come with the machine, it can still be used on it, and it works beautifully on the 7 series. It doesn't have quite as many stitches or quite as many embroidery designs, but has all those other wonderful features. So if you've seen my 770 or the 790 embroidery videos or in-depth brochure videos on the machine, most of all of that applies to the 735. So there will be some in-depth videos on the 735 so people can really see every little fine detail of it, the screen, what it's fully capable of, and there will be brochure overview videos with this machine as well coming in time. But again, I really wanted to highlight the machine. It's such a wonderful machine that has all the features that we love, but being the first big machine of ours to have a 5.5mm stitch width, which is excellent for piecing a quilt or working with really detailed stuff like heirloom sewing. Alright, that'll be it for now, so stay tuned for more videos dealing with the Bernina 735, both sewing and embroidering. And until then, happy sewing!